Hi guys, and welcome to All About the Philippines. Now today we're going to be having a look at how to manage money requests from your Filipino family. Some guys might marry a Filipina and they might not have really done their homework around what is expected of the Filipina in sending money back to the family, or what the Filipina herself might want to do to send money back to her family to maybe give them a bit of a better life, make life a little bit easier for her family. In the initial stages after you marry a Filipina, the requests from family members may go up quite a bit. So you might start getting a lot of requests from family members in the Philippines looking for help with certain things. And how you deal with that can be a very tricky situation, and it can actually cause some problems between you and your new wife. Remember, the Philippines family, they will view you as the rich foreigner. It doesn't matter what you tell them, they're going to view you as having a lot of money. And essentially, you do have a lot of money compared to them. They just don't understand that in your country it doesn't go so far. So, if you're wanting to find out how to manage those money requests from your Filipino family, stay tuned. Before we get into the video today, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Now, the information I'm giving you here, guys, is just my own experience and what I've done in my relationship with my Filipino wife around how to manage money requests from our Filipino family. Now, of course, when you marry a Filipino, you then get an extended family. Now, that's the same in any culture or any country that you might marry into. You all of a sudden become part of that family, and that's a really nice thing. And Filipinos will certainly make you feel very welcome. But come with that is they do think that you're a little bit rich, and they might think that if they need something that you'll be there for them now that you're part of their family. And of course they think that asking for 4, 5, 6, 10,000 pesos is very easy for you to do, and you can send that quite easily. Or helping out with tuition fees for the nieces, nephews, perhaps helping to get a motorbike fixed, and the list can go on. Now, of course, if you're saying yes to all these things, then you're going to have no money left for yourself. So where do you draw the line and say, sorry, I can't help you anymore? And how do you say that to your new Filipino family? And more importantly, how does your new wife say that to her family? Because she's the one most likely that's going to be dealing with the family, and they could be putting a lot of pressure on her, being that she's now in a Western country and the expectations are quite high, and they feel that if she doesn't help out, then she's letting the family down. And your Filipino wife might feel the same way. So it becomes quite tricky. And some Filipinos, they might see that you're giving money to the father or the mother or a certain nephew, and then they all want a piece of that. They think, well, why are they getting that? Why don't I get some of that as well? It's a bit unfair. So they're all then wanting to get their piece of the pie, so to speak. And of course, it's not possible for you to help everybody all of the time. Now, firstly, what we did was we decided together, so we sat down, we had a chat about what we're going to do to help her father, who's an elderly man, and he was finding it hard to get work, and he was finding it hard to do the physical work that he once did. So we decided that we would send money to him on a monthly basis to help him out. Now, it wasn't a lot of money, it was just 3,000 or 4,000 pesos a month, and that would help him with his living costs, and that would give my wife peace of mind while she was here in Australia, knowing that her father's being looked after. Then in that first 2 years of our marriage, we started getting a lot more requests coming in from our family, and they've got a right to ask, but we've also got a right to say no, that we can't help you with certain things. And what we did was we looked at each of those requests on their merits and their value to helping that person or that family. And you've really got to weigh up each request to say, well, firstly, can we afford at this time to help out with what they're asking for? And secondly, is what we're going to do here going to be benefiting that person or that family in the long term? Or is it going to help them out of a situation that they couldn't normally get out of themselves? Now, I'll give you a couple of examples of where we've helped our Filipino family, and you'll get an idea what I'm talking about when it's okay to help and against when they're just asking for money just because they think you're rich. So one of our nieces, she wanted to go to Canada to work in Canada, and she had taken all the appropriate steps she needed to do to get there, the visas, everything, and she was running short on some money to get to Canada, and she was asking for some help if we could help at all. And what we did was we gave her 500 Australian dollars, which would help her get to Canada. And now she's been there for about 4 years and doing very, very well. And that's the sort of thing you don't mind helping out with because it's going to benefit her for the long term. And another instance would be one of our sisters was ill, not doing very well. She was quite sick, and we helped her to get medical treatment and ongoing medication that helped her to recover and get better. Now, the medication side of it went on for about 2 years, and now she's fully recovered and she's doing pretty good. So you've really got to weigh the requests up. And to us, those two requests in particular, they made us feel good that we could help out, and it makes a difference to each of those lives. But when you're getting trivial requests from the family, they're just wanting money to buy a phone or go on a holiday or something like that, where it's not really going to be benefiting them in the long term, then you've really got to learn to say no. Or more importantly, your Filipino wife has to learn to say no to her family. And that, as I say, that can be a very hard thing for your Filipina to do because she's had a strong bond with her family all this time, and saying no to them can be very difficult. So she has to learn how to do that, and she has to be prepared to do that. So it's something you need to talk to her about in the early stages of your marriage, about how she's going to say no to them, and be prepared for some emotional blackmail coming back from the Filipino family to your Filipina, which will upset your Filipina quite a lot. They'll say things like to her like, oh, since you've gone to Australia, you've changed. You're not the person you used to be, and all that sort of thing. And that really hurts your Filipina. I've seen it, and it does really hurt the Filipina when she's living in another country away from her family. And of course, she wishes she could help with all these requests, and she of course wishes she could give them more money than she can give them, but she knows that's not possible. And the question arises then, are you going to be just helping your family, or are you going to be enabling your family to basically live off you and not go out and get their own money? Now, I've done a video recently on that, and it's called Helping or Enabling Your Filipino Family. So check my playlist for that and have a look at that video to see what I'm talking about there. And another thing that you and your Filipino wife need to be aware of is that it's very hard when you go back to the Philippines and you see the family there. They're going to be constantly asking for money, for little things. Oh, we'll take you down to the store, but we want 100 pesos or 500 pesos. They'll expect you to pay for a lot of things. Now, yeah, it's okay to pay for certain things, but when they're always asking for everything and extra money, they'll expect that you just give them money for, because you're there, and they think it's the right thing to do, that you just pay them money, and they're all lining up wanting money. That can be very hard for your Filipina, especially when you don't have a lot of money and they're all expecting it. And to the point where your Filipina might be not really wanting to go home as much because she has to put up with all those requests from her family, and she has to tell them face to face, no, I can't do it, or feel the pressure, and then she just gives more money out because the pressure is on her by her family when she's there in the Philippines, and it just becomes too much for her. this does happen, and it's quite common. I've spoken to other Filipinas who feel very much the same way about this, and it's quite tormenting to the Filipina. And as I say, many Filipinas will just choose not to go home, or at least not go home as much, because she doesn't want that pressure put on her by her family. So the best way really is, don't allow the family to put that pressure on, and you have to learn to say no to that family face to face or online when you're speaking to them. And it's certainly not an easy thing for your Filipina to handle and come to terms with, and it's quite distressing for her, and it's quite upsetting for you as the partner of your new Filipino wife to sit back and have to watch this go on. So it is quite tormenting. And what really helped us a lot in this circumstance was that I told my wife to tell her family that from now on I'm handling all the money, so any requests for anything at all need to come through me. And we found very quickly after that the requests really slowed down, and very few came in from the family because they really didn't want to have to deal with me about money. So that's a big tip I'd give all you guys out there, to encourage your Filipina to tell the family to go through you for any requests from now on. But there is good news in all of this, and that is that the more you stick to your guns from the start, the more you tell them, sorry, we can't help you with that, and you don't fall victim to their emotional blackmail, then you will get through this, and the requests do start to drop off, and you don't get those silly requests anymore, and you'll only get the requests when it's quite urgent. So, and when that's quite rare as well. So you'll find that over time this does go away if you handle it correctly. So I hope this video has helped those guys who are in a new relationship or just married to a Filipina, and I hope it's given you some ideas on how you can handle this very sensitive situation. So if you've enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up, of course. Don't forget to share the video around with anyone who may enjoy it, or all your networks, and of course subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. Take care, and bye for now.